Hi, everyone. Welcome to Safety Council for the month of November. We did listen to you last year. We know folks had trouble making a meeting the day before Thanksgiving. So we bumped it a week early. So thanks for signing up. And we are excited that we have around, I think, 27 folks that are coming in today for a great presentation. Here at the Chamber, we have so many things going on that I want to tell you about real quick. Coming up, we here in Columbiana start Christmas a little early. We figure if Walmart can do it, we can do it too. So it is November 20th. This Friday, we have what we're calling our Christmas Spectacular. Now, typically it's our Christmas parade, but this year we aren't allowed to have parades, or large gatherings. So what we are doing is we have a kind of a stationary parade route. So if folks were in the parade last year, they're going to be lined up along Main Street, not moving. They will be socially distant within their display and socially distant from other displays, but the public can drive through, staying in their car. That line to drive through starts at our Village Plaza Sparkle parking lot, right between Taco Bell and Burger King and Sandwich Factory, that area right there. And at 6 o'clock, the Columbiana Police Department will lead folks through a one-way Main Street, all the way down almost to the end of Main Street by Pittsburgh Street. We also have the Joy of Christmas light display here in Columbiana that's opening up tomorrow night, but it'll be available on that Friday night as well. So you can drive right through the parade and right into the Joy of Christmas as well. I apologize for my attire today, but I was decorating the Christmas tree in town there with our city officials, and so our Christmas tree is ready to go, and we are ready for Christmas in Columbiana. All of our shops this weekend have some specials and things like that and special hours, so check them out on their websites. We have a Small Business Saturday through American Express, which is the Saturday after Thanksgiving. And then on December 5th, we are planning a very Columbiana Christmas, which is an open air artisan fair. So we'll have some crafters and things like that. It's also a Dora event, and we will have family activities and all kinds of stuff, all socially distant. We've worked tirelessly with the health department, and we continue to do so. So please check our website for any changes that might occur between now and then. But we are excited that our events can go on, and we have some really great people with the Chamber that have put a lot of time in thinking outside the box, so that we can have some holiday cheer here in Columbiana. All right, that's my commercials. I'm going to send it over to Deanne now.
All right, thank you, Eric. Thank you for logging in today, everyone. I hope everyone is safe and healthy, and we do hope that you come to Columbiana in the next few days, over the next few weeks, and take advantage of the holiday offerings that Eric just told us about. A lot of exciting things going on in the city of Columbiana right now. I know I, for one, am looking forward to some stress management tips from Anna this morning. But before we get to that, I will turn it over to our BWC Industrial Safety Consultant, Colleen Bullhoff.
Thanks, Deanne. Good morning, everybody. So I'll start with news you probably have already heard, but worth hearing again. BWC is issuing a $5 billion dividend to ease the financial pressures amid the coronavirus pandemic. The dividend is defined as 372% of billed premium for eligible private employers for the policy year July 2019 through June 2020, and 2019 for public employers. The dividend checks will be mailed to eligible employers mid-December. The checks will be sent to the current address on file. So if you need to or just want to double check, please go to our webpage and check that information is correct. That is bwc.ohio.gov. Again, next year, the Ohio Safety Congress and Expo is going to be held virtually, and that's going to be March 10th and 11th. Public employers that are participating in ISSP, if we have any today, the deadline is December 31st. The only ways at this point that you can receive credit are through BWC virtual classes and our online courses. Thanksgiving is next week, and it is also the peak day for home cooking fires. So some tips from the NFPA: stay in the home when you're cooking and check on your food regularly. Keep matches and candles away from children. Make sure, of course, that your smoke alarms are functioning properly. And the NFPA strongly discourages the use of turkey fryers. So don't hate the messenger. I'm just telling you that they do discourage those. Also, the Ohio Department of Health has listed on their webpage a really nice guide to help safely celebrate the upcoming holidays. In addition to keeping our gathering super small, the guide offers tips on how you can keep yourself and your loved ones safe during the COVID pandemic. You can find this at coronavirus.ohio.gov. And lastly, I just want to wish all of you a happy and safe Thanksgiving. And I think I'm going to send this over to Stephanie. Thanks, everybody.
Great. Thank you so much, Colleen. And thank you to all of you who are attending. My name is Stephanie Hunter. I'm the Chief Operating Officer and co-founder of Ving. We are a technology platform. We love partnering with the Columbiana Safety Council. And I just want to take a few moments to talk to you about what we're all about. This is our website at vingapp.com. Essentially what we are in a nutshell, we are a safety, quality, and compliance and modern microburst training technology platform built especially for all of your safety needs. I would encourage you to come to vingapp.com and take a look at what we're all about, including watching this video. There are a lot of assets that are available on our site. We have over 1,000 topics on safety, HR, and compliance available to our customers and our clients. We also work with people on COVID, pandemic planning, harassment prevention, as you can see. And then even if you're not a customer of ours, we would welcome you to come to our site to be able to access a lot of resources and valuable information. We have ebooks, we have webinars, we have information all available to you at no cost whatsoever. So we welcome you to come in and sign up for our blog, which you can see at the very bottom of this screen, which will give you information of things that you might find up to date and useful, because we're all about up to date training for the right time, for the right place, for the right people. So again, I would encourage you to come here with a recommended reading. We have information, we have hundreds of blogs and information available to you. Again, we love partnering with the Columbiana Safety Council, and I will stop sharing my screen to turn it back to Deanne so she can introduce the speaker. Excited to hear from her.
Yes, we're glad to have. Go ahead, Eric.
Okay, you may have noticed when you signed up that there was a different name as the presenter. I'm Kristen Dickerson, who has taken a time, she's working with the governor's coronavirus vaccination task force, which we figured we'd give her a pass. That seems like an okay, important job. We do have today Anna Bell from BWC, and she is going to give us a presentation on stress management. So take it away, Anna.
Hello, everyone. I am excited to be here with you all in this virtual space, and I'm looking forward to this presentation. Just as a quick disclaimer, while I'm presenting, I'm going to turn off my camera so we don't have any issues with the PowerPoint or our bandwidth. So hopefully you all will enjoy. Give me one. Okay. Can everyone see the screen?
Anna, I think we just see your name. Do you think you can hit screen share after you hit share? You have to hit one more button.
I'm wondering if Anna can hear us.
Let me see if I can chat her. Let's see if I can just get her going here. Anna, can you hear us? think she has her.
Oh, okay. Can you all, I don't know if it disconnected or not.
I
We can
think
see your name.
Yeah, we
You
can
can-
only see your name.
Okay, you can only see my name. Okay, yeah,
Mhm.
let me try. It was displaying and then it stopped. Let me see if I can reshare. I,
Maybe having some technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Just bear with us here.
Anna, is there that second button you're hitting after you do the screen share, and there's one more after that? Yep, to the attendees, we're just trying to get Anna's presentation up. I'm wondering if you can send that over to you, Eric.
Yeah, if you could send the presentation to me, I could run it on.
okay, let me see. Is it still screen sharing? Because it's telling me it's screen sharing now, but I can't. I'm
We
not sure if
still-
you.
We still just have your name on there.
Okay, that's peculiar.
Oh, there it
Still-
is.
Oh,
Is
we
it up
got
now?
you.
Did it
Yeah,
go?
we're good.
Yay!
That's
Okay,
it.
great.
We're good.
Awesome. Okay. So just to quickly talk through today, we are, oh, and now there we go. Now it's progressing. So I want to start by going over just our current situation. We are in a pandemic. It is stress inducing. To talk about the types of stress, how that impacts us, and what that looks like when it manifests. We'll take an opportunity to go through assessing your own personal level of stress, talking through some stress management toolkits. Many of us are teleworking at this moment, so going through some tips on how to address stress during that. And then finally, combating some stress through mindfulness and wellness activities. So, like I mentioned before, as others have mentioned, we are in the middle of COVID, and that has brought about a lot of altered circumstances and situations, a lot of significant change. We might be feeling isolated from our typical friends and family group. It's changed the way that we've interacted with people. We are socially distancing. We maybe are not visiting our loved ones as often as we used to be. And some of us have experienced some very traumatic events, whether that's serious sickness or illness, or even the death or loss of loved ones. And we see that this pandemic is also changing just our day to day life. We might have children at home who are engaging in virtual school. We might have changes in our normal job routines, our job status. There's even changes in our economy. I was in the store the other day and noticed that they were asking for no cash because there's a coin shortage. So we're seeing that life is taking a different toll. And all of these changes can be stressful. So, when we hear the term stress, it's easy to just brush it off, right? But really, when we're talking about stress, it's just emotional, physical, or mental tension. And it is a completely normal feeling. It's our body's ways of reacting to the challenges and demands of life. And these challenges and demands are known as stressors. And I want to point out that like stress can be good and it can be bad. It can be something as the birth of a new grandbaby. It can be retirement. It can be public speaking, unemployment, a job promotion. It ranges and where our stress lies. But where we start to break down whether that's good stress or bad stress comes into the two types of stress we encounter. And those are acute and chronic stress. So, acute stress is what most of us are usually familiar with. It's more common. It is that short term stress that tends to be least damaging. And it's funny because we started off with a perfect example of that. It was stressful to not have this presentation pull up or the screen's not sharing, or to have an error message come up on Zoom or WebEx or something just not working out quite the right way that we had intended. So we are normal. Like the stress is normal. We have it. It usually comes and goes. It resolves. It's something that we are all used to. Where we start to get into more problems is when we encounter chronic stress. So, chronic stress is this long term emotional and mental pressure. And by long term, we're usually thinking of a couple of weeks to a month or more. And when we find ourselves in situations that are full of chronic stress, we tend to have feelings that may produce like little to no control. It's difficult to grasp how we can get ahead of this situation and even just wrap our minds around it. And we also see that chronic stress tends to happen during traumatic events. So, like now in the middle of a pandemic, or when there's major changes that are difficult to handle. And the issue with chronic stress is that it puts a lot of pressure on our bodies. And when our bodies are stressed, we begin to release these chemicals or hormones, for example, these corticosteroids. And they build up over time and they build and they build and they build. And essentially, this keeps our body in a sense or like a state of tension, that flight or flight, that always on edge, that just I am nervous and not sure what to do next. And that is very harmful to our bodies. When this happens and we're in that constant flight or flight, we can have negative impacts to our health. This can be things such as high blood pressure or stroke, anxiety or depression, sleep problems, weight gain. We even can cause damage to our muscles, particularly our heart muscles, and this can lead to heart attacks. So, this is why chronic stress is so detrimental and harmful to our bodies. Now, stress can manifest in many other ways. Maybe we're not seeing the heart attack, but you might see, again, trouble sleeping or upset stomach. There might be people who have tiredness or an inability to concentrate. There's a lot of ways that stress can manifest in our daily lives. So, with all that in mind, I want you to think about, where is your current level of stress at? And this particular diagram here, I love it's a stress curve. And as I noted earlier, we all have stress in our lives, and some stress is good, but too much stress can be bad. And so we want to be in a place where we are operating in our optimum level of stress. And when we're in our optimal level of stress, we are sleeping well, we're feeling strong and in control of events, we're interested in what's going on around us, we're making decisions, we are engaged, we are ready. And this floats and it's on a continuum. We're not going to stay in one particular space, but you want to be in that good spot. If we have too little stress, then we're not really paying attention. We might be passive, we might be tired, we might not care about the events and circumstances around us. Or if we're on the opposite end and we have too much stress, then we can get to a point of burnout. And this is where we are irritable. We're not sleeping, or we're sleeping too much. We're disinterested. It's hard to make decisions. It's hard to engage. And that's when we start to break down our bodies. So it's important to think about where your stress is right now and where you would like to be. And again, this is not a one size fits all model. Everybody's level of stress, everybody's stressors is different and it varies. So today you might be in your optimum level of stress, but maybe tomorrow you're feeling a little bit of overload. And we're going to talk about that and what we can do to address that. So again, when you're outside of that optimal area, and you want to know, what does that look like? Think about how you're feeling. Maybe there's feelings of sadness, maybe some fear, some anger, despair. There's a lot of emotions that can come up when we are not in our optimal state of stress. And it is completely natural and okay to have those feelings. Many of us are having them right now. And this is a time to process that. So acknowledge what you're feeling, to take it in, and then be ready to make some new steps and moving forward. And stress management is the way to do that. So, when you're starting your stress management, the first thing that I like to suggest is to take inventory. Be aware of your surroundings and your environment and know your stressors. Maybe you're snapping at the kids a little more, or you're getting into some disagreements with your significant other, or you're not quite making those deadlines for work, or you're feeling like that inbox of emails is just piling and piling and piling and you can't get to it. If these things are not usual for you, it might be an indication that you're a little stressed. And when you notice that, begin to gather your support systems and resources around you. So maybe that's talking to your doctor, talking to a mental health provider, talking to a trusted friend or family member who can give you some guidance or advice. We can also work on managing our stress and our physical health. So, regular exercise, and the CDC recommends 30 minutes a day, is excellent at helping to boost your mood and to sleep better. And this does not have to be strenuous, high intensity workouts. It can be something such as a brisk walk. We can also engage in relaxing activities. This gives your body time to restore and rebuild. And that could be something such as meditation, doing some breathing exercises, or practicing mindfulness. And moving on to that as well with your physical health, it's important to eat well. Aim to have 5 fruits or vegetables a day. And this is good because it gives our bodies nutrients and minerals and vitamins that it needs to combat the negative effects of stress. So it helps build us back up. And what is really important is to sleep and to sleep well. A lot of times we try to cut sleep out or just get by on the minimums that we can, and it can be difficult, but work on establishing a good sleep routine. Stop using electronics about an hour before bed because when we're using our phones, tablets, TVs, laptops, all of these things emit blue light. And that blue light stimulates our brains to stay awake and to keep moving and to keep working and to keep going. But if you cut out those electronics, you're telling your body it's time to rest, it's time to prepare for the next day. And try as best as you can to keep your bedroom for sleeping only. Try not to take work or other entertainment into the bedroom. Keep it as a place that's for rest and relaxation. Another way to manage stress is to set goals. And that may sound a little daunting, but when we have goals, it allows us to say no to those things that are keeping us away from where our priorities are. And it also helps us to make note of what we've accomplished and what we've been able to get done. Setting goals is a good way to also stay engaged and connected with others. And I know that during these times, being connected with others can be a little challenging, but there's ways that we can be creative about doing that, whether that's an online community, whether it's a socially distant drive by or waving, sending mail, sending a text message, FaceTiming, however that may look. Those are ways that we can still interact with other individuals. When you're working on managing stress, your thought process is just as important. So, work on being positive. We have to recognize that we cannot control everything. And so, we have to accept that. But as you're doing that acceptance and thinking through your thoughts, write down your feelings, acknowledge the good and the bad, and be ready to let go of what you can't control and also take time to celebrate the small things. I know that is when we're stressed, it's very easy to hold on to the negative. It's very easy to focus on what isn't going right. But sometimes there's little victories that we can have throughout the day. Maybe it's that you got to drink your cup of coffee before it got cold, or maybe there were no glitches in the Zoom meetings during that day, or you were able to help set things up and get decorated for the holidays and everybody enjoyed it. So, whatever that is, celebrate the small moments. So, I want to go into the stress management toolkit. It is called the 4 A's. And essentially, when our stress levels are high, our main goal is to reduce that and to find healthy ways to cope. And one toolkit you can take with you to do that is the 4 A's, and that's avoid, alter, accept, and adapt. So, avoiding is really about taking control of your surroundings, and that's your environment. What are things that you can change? Maybe it's getting up a little bit early to have some quiet time for yourself, or maybe it's putting a more difficult email off until the next day until you can respond. If necessary, avoid individuals who might be stress inducing. If they're bringing a lot of negativity or conflict to your life and you can move away from them, then be sure to do that. Learn to say no. If there are activities, events, situations that are outside of your goals, that are outside of what it is that you want to do, that are going to stretch you, then get rid of it. Say no and learn to be comfortable with that. And one of my favorites is to simplify that to-do list. We all tend to make to-do lists at some point, and I don't know about you all, but I too have a tendency to make them very long and really elaborate and get disappointed if I don't knock off everything on that list. When we're stressed, go through that list and prioritize. Label those top things A, those middle things B, and those things that can wait C. And when you're crunched for time or energy, cut out the bottom half of the list and save it for another day. Another 4A is alter. So that is being willing to ask for, or excuse me, being willing and asking for change. Whether that's change in a behavior, change in the way that something occurs, it's okay to reach out and to ask for those things. Maybe a meeting needs to be pushed back a little bit. Maybe a Zoom call without video is what someone may need during that day, or maybe they need to see your face. Maybe you'd like to see someone else's face and just have that open communication. Be sure to practice better time management when you can, and be upfront about limits and constraints. And that's your time limits and constraints. Being upfront lets everybody know where you stand and what you are able to get done and accomplish in a given amount of time. So that way you are not spending, let's say, 30 minutes on something that you only have 5 minutes for. So the other two A's out of the four are accept and adapt. So acceptance is all about connecting with your support systems. It's learning to forgive yourself and to forgive others when there's been wrongs, learning from your mistakes and how you can improve upon them, and to practice that positive self-talk. And adapting is one of the most common ones we see. And this is just recognizing that life happens and that there are things that we may not be able to change, but we can adapt. We can adjust our standards so that we're not operating from a place of perfection. We can try to look at a different point of view, or even just create an assets column about what is good, what's going on in our lives that's beneficial. And one thing that I like to do as well is to do what's called thought stopping. So as you find yourself going down a negative or just kind of not so good thought, immediately cut it off. Stop it and replace it with something different, something positive, something that makes you happy, something that helps bring you back to a better state of mind. So I want to take a very quick thought break, and anybody, if you like, please feel free to share. Take a moment to think about a true example that you have in your life right now, if you're willing to share something that might be stressful for you, and which of these A's, whether that's avoiding, adapting, altering, or accepting, do you think could work? And if no one has an example, I'm more than happy to give one, but I'm willing to hear from anyone who does.
I have an example. Um, we right now, with all of our events with our Chamber of Commerce, have to use adapt a lot as health department and restrictions and things like that change things. So just taking the time to adapt and accepting as well that things are maybe not going to be exactly how you planned.
That's great. Thank you, Eric, for sharing that. And I think that's a perfect example, even how you mentioned about the parade this year being stationary and having community members drive around. That is a great example of adapting and turning what can kind of feel like a negative, stressful event into something a little more positive. So thank you for sharing that. I want to go through some really quick tips for teleworking for those of us that might be teleworking or, oh,
Anna, we had one
sorry,
comment.
did someone, did I?
Yes.
Oh, sure, yes.
Teresa, something that's a big stress for me is that with technology, we are always on. People tend to get upset if you do not immediately reply.
Yes. Oh, that is a great one. That is a great one. And I think that that shows we have gotten used to very instant interactions. And so it takes a moment to have everyone learn to adapt to that and to say that I can't respond at this exact moment, or I might need a second, or sometimes we're still figuring things out. And as we're figuring it out, it gives us a chance to say, how can I do this better next time? So no, thank you for that comment. So if you are teleworking, one, I'd recommend having a morning routine. It can be easy to just think, oh, I am working outside of the home or in a particular spot, and so maybe I can just get up and go and do whatever I wish. Nope, having a routine helps you prepare your mind, your energy, your body for the work that you're going to do for the day. If you do have children at the home with you, try to have a schedule for them. And I know that that can be challenging, especially for younger children, but giving them a schedule helps everybody have structure. It helps to not necessarily step on anyone's toes, but to learn, what does a day look like for us now in this space? When you can, practice engaging by video. I know we cannot always be on our videos all the time, or sometimes maybe the background's a little messy, or kids might be running around, or the dog might be barking, or there's lawn care services coming through, whatever it is. But when you can, engage on video. It helps your coworkers, it helps others with you to see that you are there and you're present. Take time to also schedule your breaks. And even if it's a short 10-minute break, give yourself that opportunity to step away from your work to refresh and to regroup. And last, get outside. Leave your office space, leave your workspace if you can. And I know it's getting a little colder out here, but if you can, just step outside for a brief moment. Try to get the sunshine when it's out. Take a deep breath, and that way you can reset and regroup and be ready for what's next. Also, if you're teleworking, be sure to have a firm quitting time. I know that it can be easy to have work blend into home life, but when we do that, we tend to overburden our bodies and we start to move out of that optimal level of stress into burnout. So if you are stopping at 4:30 p.m., at 5 p.m., whatever time it is, be firm about that. Try to make your office space or your workspace just your workspace. Do not bring other household items into there. And also keep your house out of your workspace and your workspace out of the other areas of your home. You want to make sure that you're not blending the two. And if possible, your workspace should be outside of your bedroom. Again, you want the bedroom to be a place of rest and relaxation. So I want to kind of conclude and go into health and well-being and how that is related to stress and what we can do about managing stress. So again, creating new routines. We talked a little bit about this, but because of the pandemic, we are doing things a little different. So be open to what your day might look like and how that might shift. Take time to disconnect, whether that's from social media, whether that's from the onslaught of emails, work tasks, whatever it may be, even if it's a few minutes, just to take time to silence and still yourself. Be ready to accept negative emotions. They might happen during this time and they may be frequent, and that is okay. Write down your feelings and be ready to engage in self care so you can heal from that. Whether that's taking a walk, FaceTiming friends, listening to music, however that looks like, or whatever that looks like for you. And last, play. I know that may sound silly, but play, whether that's spending time with your family inside or out, connecting with friends digitally or socially distancing as you can, but have fun. It could be a game, it could be a song, it could be watching a movie. Be sure to enjoy yourself, to laugh a little bit. And again, we mentioned this, we reduce your exposure to social media. Try to avoid complaining or gossiping. That way, you're not bringing in added negative criticisms, added stress. We don't need that. And then try to be mindful when we can. So mindfulness, that's a term that again can come up quite a bit, but a lot of times we're not always sure what it is, and it can be quite simple. Mindfulness is really just being aware. It's focused awareness. It's being present. It's accepting our feelings and emotions as they come. And it's important to our well being because when we practice mindfulness, we are aware of our thoughts and our emotions. And that allows us to be more empathetic and compassionate towards others. When we practice mindfulness, we are being present in our current state. We're not thinking about a ton of other things or what we should be doing, what we could have done, where we need to go. We are right there. And I like this little cartoon image that's here where it shows the person walking the dog, his mind is so full of whether that's work, school, driving here, going over there. There's all these things that are happening. But the little dog is simply being present in the park, looking at the trees, enjoying the sunshine. So when you're thinking about mindfulness, ask yourself, is my mind full of information, full of busyness, full of all these things happening, or am I acknowledging where I am at the moment? And again, being mindfulness, it helps to reduce our brain activity. It keeps our brains calm. It gives them a chance to regroup, and we can focus better. We can adjust our attitudes, our emotions, and we can exercise compassion with others because we can recognize those feelings and emotions within ourselves. So I want to take a moment, if you all are open to it, and to do a very quick mindfulness meditative exercise. This may be new for some people, but I encourage you to try if you are willing. So wherever you are right now, take a deep breath. I want you to close your eyes or keep them open and choose an area or an object to focus on. Slowly inhale through your nose to the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And slowly exhale through your mouth to the count of 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. As you continue with this breathing pattern, begin to picture a light at the top of your head. Allow the light to slowly scan your body, becoming aware of each area as it scans over it. Notice any tension or tightness as you scan and begin to release it. Scan from your head, move down to your face and your neck. Scan your shoulders, your chest, your stomach, your legs, all the way down to your toes. Feel any tension and breathe it out and let it go. And as you're scanning, repeat these affirmations to yourself. I am letting go of today's stress. My tension is melting away. My muscles are relaxed. My thoughts are calming down. I am letting go of fear and worry. Calmness washes over me with every breath I take. I am calm and centered. Take one more deep breath that is cleansing, and one more exhale. And if your eyes were closed, feel free to open them now. And let's turn our attention back to the presentation. If that was your first mindfulness exercise or guided meditative exercise, hopefully you enjoyed that quick tidbit and can take something away from it. And as we're working on mindfulness in our everyday lives, you can practice mindfulness in your waking, your eating, your driving, whatever it is. So maybe mindful waking up might look like acknowledging, did you mess up the covers a little bit? Do you have a blanket? Are you snuggled in it, or is it kicked to the bottom of the bed? When we're practicing mindful eating, it's pausing to taste the food. Think about the texture, the temperature. If you're driving while you're mindful, what is the weather like outside? What color is the car next to you? What color is the car in your rearview mirror? Being mindful is about being present. And if you're pressed for time, there's activities that you can do very quickly. So a big yawn and a stretch. One that tends to be favorites I've noticed, especially with children, is 3 hugs and 3 breaths. So giving yourself 3 hugs or giving a loved one or a friend 3 hugs and taking 3 deep breaths. Clenching and breathing. So that's tensing up different areas of your bodies or tensing up your muscles and then letting it go. And again, repeating kind and affirming aspirations and positive aspirations to yourself is also another way to be mindful. So last, I've included in this presentation and I'll be sure to share this, just different resources if you'd like to learn more about stress. There's things from the CDC, if that's stress with just everyday stress and anxiety, stress during this pandemic, and how to deal with traumatic events. If you're also looking for information about sleeping, eating, basic nutrition, or mindfulness, there's some resources here. And that concludes the presentation. I hope that you all enjoyed that, and I'm looking forward to what questions and comments we have.
So if anyone has any comments or questions, feel free to post them in the chat, and we can take care of that. While we're waiting, I can tell you a little bit. Our next meeting will be December 16th. December 16th, when Don Blanchard will be talking about fall protection. So watch for the link for that to be coming out. Let's see. I have a continuation of that last comment. It says, I have begun using my phone's auto response that says, I'm currently unavailable. I will contact you when available. So there's something that someone's doing.
Yes, I think that's wonderful.
Anybody else? Okay, well, I would like to say a special thanks to Anna for her presentation. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
We did get some comments here. Great presentation, which is awesome. I'd also like to say thank you to Stephanie Hunter for setting us up here with Bing and our meetings. Like I said, our next meeting is December 16th. And once again, remember, if you attend, I believe it's 9 out of our 10 meetings, you can be registered for when we are meeting in person to have free meetings for a year. Hopefully that's next year, but we will see how things go. And that's about it. Deanne, did you have anything else? Colleen, I'm seeing they're still muted, so I think that's about it.
Nothing else for me. Thank you so much. That was a great presentation.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Yes, it was a good presentation. Thank you, Anna. And Anna, sorry. And the only other thing I have to say is everyone, please have a safe and healthy Thanksgiving.
Absolutely. Thanks for attending today. We'll see you in December.
Thank you.
Thank you.